So the best thing we can do in terms of this then is to be mindful of the preventative measures we can take. Tell me a bit about some of those.
Yeah, so it always goes back to mainly those same things, but we seem to, don't we, as a community, as individuals struggle. So one of the main ways to reduce inflammatory levels is through eating a healthy diet, which we talk about so much, but so important. So we know there is foods that fuel inflammation. So they're your fried foods, your processed meats, and what that does when we're digesting them, that does create a level of inflammation. So it is going back to that healthy living, reducing those foods that we all know are bad for us. But also what's really shown is the research of eating those foods that we know are anti-inflammatory. So they are your leafy greens, they're your fruits, there's some of your things like your nuts. Omega, I'm sure you've heard about omega 3 and 6. That's very topical at the moment. And again, it's getting the balance. So omega 6 we really need. That comes from things like vegetable oil. But if we have too much, that can become inflammatory. So it's balancing that out with our omega 3s, which is what's coming from things like walnuts, flaxseed. So getting that balance right. And then the other bit of advice I'd say around diet is really giving consideration to gut microbiome. So we know maybe acute infections and taking antibiotics, other medications can really interrupt our gut microbiome. And you think then we've got inflammation. So that inflammation can sit there and give us some of those gastro symptoms of bloating, maybe abdominal pain. But also what we're showing is it's some of that stomach inflammation that can then go on to potentially stomach cancer. So diet's a big one.
I'm going to go back to the first thing you said, which was processed foods and meats and frying them. Has the advent of air fryers made us healthier?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. I wouldn't actually know that. I think it's still what you would put in that air fryer, I guess.
It's still got the word fry in it, hasn't it? But people think, I get this sense that people who've got an air fryer think they're being slightly more virtuous and being slightly healthier.
Well, you would be through not having a frying pan of oil, but it still comes down to what foods
what you put in
that fryer.
Okay, so if I'm putting sausages in an air fryer, they're not healthy.
No.
They're still not very healthy because they're processed. So, and there's a lot of talk about ultra high processed food. So is that also a risk factor for inflammation?
Definitely. Yeah. It's going back to those, real basics of your pure foods, your fruits, your veggies, and your lean meat. So.
Okay. So and does hydration fit into this as well? Is hydration an important part of what, how we cope with inflammation?
Not so much. I mean, we would always say you want to be hydrated to maintain all your bodily function. So I haven't read about huge links between hydration and inflammation, but other things that we drink. So obviously your alcohol, you want to keep that in moderation. If you're looking for other ways to reduce inflammation, it's your exercise. And we all live too much of a sedentary lifestyle, and it's making sure we do that cardiovascular exercise, but also the strength training is a big thing.